The Curse of the Bayou. Deep in the heart of Louisiana, where the cypress trees tower above the murky waters of the bayou, there lies a hidden history that has been shrouded in mystery for centuries. It is a tale of ancient curses, forgotten civilizations, and a tragedy that has been passed down through generations. The story begins in the early 18th century, when French colonists first settled in the region. They brought with them their own language, culture, and traditions, which would eventually blend with those of the indigenous peoples and African slaves. But they also brought something else, a dark and malevolent force that would haunt the bayou for generations to come. According to local legend, the curse was placed upon the bayou by a powerful voodoo priestess named Erzulie. She was said to have been wronged by the French colonists, who had destroyed her home and killed her family. In revenge, Erzulie placed a curse upon the bayou, vowing that anyone who settled there would suffer a terrible fate. At first, the curse seemed to have little effect. The French colonists thrived in the region, establishing prosperous plantations and trading posts. But as the years passed, strange occurrences began to plague the settlers. Crops would wither and die, livestock would fall ill, and people would begin to disappear. Many believed that the curse was responsible for the troubles, but others were skeptical. They attributed the strange occurrences to the harsh environment of the bayou, where snakes, alligators, and other deadly creatures lurked in the shadows. But as the years turned into decades, the strange occurrences continued to escalate. People would report seeing ghostly apparitions in the dead of night and hearing strange whispers in the wind. Some even claimed to have seen Erzulie herself wandering the bayou in search of victims. One family in particular was affected by the curse. The Lafleurs had settled in the bayou in the early 19th century, establishing a prosperous plantation that would become one of the largest in the region. But as the years passed, the family began to experience strange and terrifying occurrences. Their crops would wither and die, their livestock would fall ill, and family members would begin to disappear. Some said that the Lafleurs were being punished for their role in the slave trade, while others believed that they were simply victims of the curse. The Lafleurs tried everything to lift the curse, from performing exorcisms to seeking the help of voodoo priests. But nothing seemed to work. The curse continued to haunt them, until finally, the family was forced to abandon their plantation and flee the bayou. The Lafleur plantation was left to decay, a haunting reminder of the curse that had driven the family away. But the story of the Lafleurs and the curse of the bayou lived on, passed down through generations as a cautionary tale about the dangers of meddling with forces beyond our understanding. Years later, a young historian named Sarah would stumble upon the story of the Lafleurs and the curse of the bayou. She was fascinated by the tale and determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. Sarah spent months researching the history of the Lafleur family and the bayou, poring over ancient documents and conducting interviews with local residents. And what she found was shocking. It seemed that the curse of the bayou was not just a legend, but a real and malevolent force that had been awakened by the French colonists. The curse had been placed upon the bayou by Erzulie, the voodoo priestess, and had been passed down through generations, affecting countless families and individuals. Sarah's research also uncovered a dark secret about the Lafleur family. It seemed that they had been involved in the slave trade and had been responsible for the deaths of countless enslaved Africans. The curse, it seemed, had been a punishment for their crimes. As Sarah delved deeper into the mystery, she began to experience strange occurrences herself. She would hear whispers in the wind and see ghostly apparitions in the dead of night. She began to feel like she was being watched and that the curse was closing in around her. Despite her fears, Sarah continued her research, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend. And what she found was shocking. The curse of the bayou, it seemed, was not just a legend, but a real and malevolent force that had been awakened by the French colonists. The curse had been placed upon the bayou by Erzulie, the voodoo priestess, and had been passed down through generations, affecting countless families and individuals. As Sarah finished her research, she couldn't shake the feeling that the curse was still out there, waiting for its next victim. She knew that she had uncovered a dark and sinister secret,